Yeah. Hi guys. Today we are going to discuss about the message structure. So before discussing message structure, we'll see like where this will happen. We'll see. So just assume this is the MuleSoft and this is the source system and this is the target system. So usually we'll get the request from the source system to our MuleSoft application. Inside MuleSoft application, you will create a one flow. So this flow will receive this request and it will process to the target system by using connectors. Here you can assume any kind of connectors, DB or Salesforce file, any connector you can assume. In this scenario, first the request will come from source system. So you can consider it is as a request. Okay, so the format will be request. So let me show you. This is the source system. Whenever source system will send, so it will create a one request. Okay, just assume this is the request. And whenever this request will come to MuleSoft, it will convert into a one message. Okay, so outside we'll call it as a request, but whenever it will come to inside MuleSoft, so you can assume this is the message. Okay, so request we have two parts. Okay, request we have two parts. So what are those two parts? So we have two parts in a request. What are those? Some kind of a metadata, otherwise headers also. Headers and body. Okay. But whenever this request will come to, okay, you can assume this is the request. Whenever this request will come to MuleSoft, whenever it will enter into the MuleSoft, it will convert into a message. You can assume this is the message. It will convert into a message. Message also have one structure, so I'll show you that structure. So message also have two parts. What are those two parts? One is attributes. Okay. Attributes. Another one is payload. What is this attributes and what is this payload? So you can see, so you can assume here metadata also. That is also fine. Okay. Whenever you are sending the request, that metadata will convert into a attributes whenever it comes to MuleSoft. So if you have any details in the metadata like header details, query parameters, URL details, all these details will convert into a attributes. And whenever you are sending, if you are sending any body as part of the request, that body it will convert inside Mule into a payload. Okay, totally this request will convert into a message structure. Message structure have different parts like attributes and payload. Same data it will convert into a different formats. Okay, so all the request header or metadata it will convert into attributes, and all the body it will convert into a payload. So I'll show you what is this like request headers and metadata, and also like what is this body, everything I'll show you. Okay, so for that, first of all I'll create a one application like this, so then I can show you. First I'll create a one application. This is the demo application, I can say. Okay, otherwise I can how you can create the application. Simply click on file and select the new and go to the Mule project. Here you need to create the application. How you can create? Some kind of a message structure. A message structure. This is a message structure example. Click on finish button. So then automatically it will create the application. This is the first application. So just listen very carefully, so then only you can understand. Like you'll get sometimes you'll get confusion also. Okay, so that's why try to understand more. How you can start your flow? First of all, I'll send my request from the postman, right? So how you can listen that request? By using the HTTP listener. By using HTTP listener, source level, I'll listen that like request. So if you are sending any request from here, so whenever the request will meet this HTTP listener, automatically the request will convert into a message structure. Okay, that will convert internally. You cannot see directly. That will convert internally, but just I can try to show you how it will convert, and each and every part I will show you. So how you can configure this HTTP listener? It is very simple. Simply click on add button and click on OK button. Okay. So before clicking on OK button, here you can see three parameters: protocol, host, port details, right? So here you can configure like this. Local host you can configure. Host you can configure as a local host. Protocol you can keep it as the same. You need to go with the HTTPS protocol. HTTPS means that is a secure protocol. As of now, we don't require that security protocol. And remaining thing is port. Port is like 8081 default port. You can keep it as it is. Even if you want to check the test connection also, you can check. So sometimes you will fail also, you don't need to worry. Okay, just click on OK button slash. Here this is the first application, right? Test application, otherwise message also I can give. Now my source component is ready. So after that I will use some kind of a let me see. Okay, I want to use logger. Okay, I'll tell you why this logger. If you are sending any details, like if you want to send any details from the postman, that details if you want to capture in the MuleSoft, and if you want to print the details in the console, you can use logger. Okay, it is also very important. So here you can assign some message also. For example, I want to print like request metadata inside MuleSoft. How you can print? So already we have discussed it, right? So if you want to print request headers or request metadata inside Mule, you can use the attribute syntax. Okay, you can use the attribute syntax. Attributes. If you want to print this body inside MuleSoft, how you can print? By using payload. So to write the payload and attributes directly, you should not write. You have to use separate syntax. What is that syntax? Hash square braces you have to use. Inside square braces you have to write payload. Directly you should not write the payload here. Okay, directly you should not write the payload here. So you have to write in this way: hash square braces payload. If you want to write payload directly, you can write, but how you can write? So you have to remove everything. Okay, just to write a payload and enable the fx. In this way you can write. So even you can see, if you enable this fx, hash square braces will include for this payload. Okay, so but here you don't need to write any message, extra message you cannot write. If you want to write extra messages, you have to disable this fx. Okay, and you can write that message. After that, if you want to print the payload, you have to use the hash square braces. Inside hash square braces you can use the payload. In two ways you can write. This is the best way, I can say. Why? Because this message also we can see in a console, so then we can easily identify where we are printing the body and everything. We can easily identify by this message. Okay, I'll show you how we can do this. First of all, I want to print the attributes. Okay, attributes, control space also you can, control space, if you press control space it will give. Okay, you can take the suggestions also. And Okay, so in this way you can create a one sample application. Let me show you how you can do that. So first of all, I'll run this application. Okay, I'll run this application. Okay, I'll run this application. What happened? Okay, I'm running this application. Now you can see if I'm sending any request. So regarding this request meta details, all the meta details it will print here. Okay, in the logger. Logger means console. This is the console. In the console, it will print all the details. I'll show you. No need to worry. So here you can see I'm sending the request. Okay, I'm sending the request from the postman. How you can send the request? By using this HTTP listener, already we have configured, right? Here you have configured. Don't click on add every time. If you click on add, so then it will create a new configuration. Okay, you should not create a multiple configuration. First time only you have to click on the add button. Next time onwards you have to click on the edit button. Okay, you can see protocol, host, port. By using these three details, I can prepare the URL in the postman. HTTP colon / localhost colon 8081. Okay, so this is a separate syntax you can see. Okay, so protocol is like HTTP protocol, host is localhost, port is 8081. In this way you have to prepare your URL, and I can cancel this. So this configuration will create in a global elements. Okay, so then again you have to go to the message flow. This is the message flow. If you create any configuration, this configuration will create in a global elements. Okay, no need to worry. So again you can come back to the message flow. Now you have to give this path in a end of the URL. So that's it. Your URL will be ready. So if I'm sending request, what will happen? This request will like 1 second guys, I'm getting continuous calls. I will mute this. Okay, so now you can see I'm sending the request, I'm getting the response also, 200 response. Now here you can see where is that message. This is the logger, it is printed. So here you can see request metadata. Same thing you have mentioned here, right? Request metadata. Instead of this syntax, it will print the original data. So instead of this syntax, it will print all the data. This is the details. These all are the attributes we are getting from the postman. We are sending request. Along with the request, it will send all this metadata. Nothing but whenever it will come to the MuleSoft, it will convert into attributes. Okay, so you can consider these all are the attributes. If you are not comfortable seeing here all these attributes, I can send the same attributes to the browser also. As of now you are getting empty, right? So but you can send same stuff to the browser also. How you can send? By using set payload component. If you set all these attributes as a payload, so then you can send back to the browser. Why? Because if you want to send any data inside Mule, you have to use the set payload component. Okay, just remember this. So here instead of payload I will use the attributes. Okay, attributes. So if you want to print in a console, you have to use the logger, but if you want to send same details to the browser, you have to use the set payload. Okay, let's see what will happen now. Control S. So I'm not comfortable seeing the data here. That's why I'm sending to the browser. Now if I'm sending this request, now you can see the details here. Okay, so the details, it is in not readable format, right? So we need to set some format. So then only we can see attributes. How you can set the format? Go to the MIME type. Here you can set the format. Here I can set text by plain also. So text by JSON also I can set. Otherwise so many formats are available. Okay, simply I'll set the application by JSON. It is very comfortable format. Okay, so if you press Ctrl S, automatically it will read apply. Every time you have to press Ctrl S. Now you can see you can read. Oh my god, still I am not able to read. Why? Okay, let me try text by plain. What happened? This is not required, not to worry. Oh my god, still I am getting same thing. Okay, you don't need to worry. I'll delete. Okay, we'll see here only. If I want to send, definitely I can send. That's not a problem. Okay. So you can use one more component also to send our data to the browser. So that is called like transfer message. It is the powerful component. You will not face any kind of issues here. So same thing, attributes. Here from here you can send attributes, and here you can give the format, JSON format. Now you can print your details very comfortably. Okay, just press Ctrl S, it will read apply. Now you can see all the details here. Okay, so these all are the headers. You can assume these all are the headers. Where this headers is coming, you are sending, this is the request metadata, right? You are sending the request from here. So these all requests will go to the MuleSoft and it will print in a logger, and even you can return to the browser also. This is the browser. So whatever response is coming from the MuleSoft, here you can see. In the response also you can see whatever you are sending from here, that will come here. Okay. So you can see this is the host, local host, and here you can see some kind of other details also. What is the method? This is the method name, get method you can see, and the remaining all things you can see here. Okay, if you are confusing, then you can remove this thing also. If I don't want to see in the browser, just I want to see inside Mule only, you can see, there is no problem. Okay, you can see in like in inside MuleSoft also. Just now trigger, then you will get empty. Why? Because I'm not returning any attributes to the browser. Just I'm printing in a logger itself. No problem. Here also you can understand. So now here you can see request path is message. This is my request path. From this you can call it as a URL. So you can see this is the request path, this is the protocol, this is the host, and this is the protocol, and this is the method. Okay, here you are sending params, headers, body, all these details you will send. Only except body, remaining all details you will get from the attributes. Okay, just remember this. These are all the attributes, right? Printing in the attributes, all details you will get, all except this body. If you want to get this body data, how you can get? Simply here you have to change your syntax like payload. Then you will get only body. You will not get remaining all these details. Okay, that thing you have to remember. Let's see now. So query parameters. What is this query parameters? Query parameters means here you can see here. This is the query params. Okay, if you click on this params, if you are sending any details here, that you can capture in this array. Okay, if you want to try, you can try. So for example, I want to send my name. My name is Niranjan. Okay, I want to send my name from the query parameters. So already one logger is printed, right? If I send one more request, one more logger will print. Nothing but one more time this flow is triggered. Okay, so you can assume in that way. If I send the request, you can see one more time request is printed. Okay, this is the one logger, this is the one logger. Here you can see query parameters name equal Niranjan. In this way you can print the query parameters. Here you can see some of the headers, right? So here also you can see 6 headers. Okay, so these all are the, we can say, default headers. Okay, these all are the default headers we can see. Okay, these 6, 3 and 3, these 6 are default headers. I am not setting any headers. If you want to set your custom headers also, you can set. I want to set my custom header is like address s HYD. So I am sending this headers. So this time one more logger will print. Every time one logger will print. Nothing but every time this flow will trigger. So that's why it is printing. Now you can see. So this is the headers, right? Now you can see address is HYD. So remaining 6 headers also printed. So this is the query parameter. Okay. If you are sending any details in the headers, you will get in this way headers. From the attributes, inside attributes, you can see the headers. You can see the query parameters. Okay. And you can see all these details. Even these details also you can see, but most of the time we will send headers and query parameters as part of headers and query parameters. Even if you want to see the URI parameters also you can see. But for that you need to do something in inside Mule application. If you want to send any URI parameters, /* is required. Okay. So something, otherwise if you remove entire thing, so nothing but, okay, I'm pressing Ctrl S, it will reapply. /* means if you send anything after this port like a slash message slash, okay, slash message slash some kind of a data, if you entered anything here, this part also it will consider as a URI parameters. Okay, if you send this, now you can see last what happened. URI parameter not printed. Then I'll give the path. After the path I can give the star. Okay, say /*. Let's see. Okay, it is not printing the URI parameter. Okay, that's not a problem. So there is a different things actually. Okay, so some kind of, you can give this curly braces and you can give the data. So data means it will, now it will give. So if you are sending after message in the URL, after message, if you are sending any data, here you can send any data like here I can send my uh, like here if I can send my ID like 123 or send anything here. If you can send any my mobile number 9010035373. Okay, if I send any my mobile number, I can capture as part of URI parameter. You can see in the URI parameter. Okay, data equal to URI parameter. This is the query parameter. This is the address. But if I want to get only headers, how can I get? If I want to get only query parameters, how can I get? I don't want all these attributes details. Now you can divide from the attributes. How you can divide? Simply click on attributes dot. Here you can see it will suggest all the whatever available components in the attributes. It will suggest all the components. If you want to print only kind of a query parameters, you have to select the query params. Okay, here you can see query params. If you want to print only URI parameters, you have to select this URI params. If you want to print only headers, you have to select this. Okay, for example, if I select the query parameters, what will happen, we'll see. Okay, so this time, okay, I'm pressing Ctrl S, so then it will reapply. This time it will not print all the details. Okay, so for your clarification, every time you can clear this console, so then the console will clear, only that details will print every time. Okay, so this time I will not get all the, I will not print all the parameters here. Only I can print query parameters only. This is my query parameters. If I want to print only headers, how can I print? Attributes dot headers. It will suggest. Okay, if you press dot, automatically it will suggest. If I want to print only headers, in this way I can print. Okay, Control S. I'm pressing Control S. Now you can see. Okay, so let's send the request. Now you can see the details are printed here. Okay, so request metadata. Here you can see all the headers, 7 headers, address, like these are the headers. Okay, 7 headers you can see. In this format you can see. So whatever you are sending from here, like all these headers you can see, address, HYD, and host, this is the host. Okay, host is, this is the host, user agent something, some kind of a connection you can see, connection, where is the connection, this is the connection, keep alive connection, accept is like something star slash star, and accept encoding is gzip. Okay, accepting encoding is gzip, some other also we have. Okay, in this postman token also we are sending as part of the default header. This is the postman headers, postman token. Okay, so in this way you can capture all the details as part of the headers, as part of the attributes. Okay, if you press only attributes, it will print all the details. If you want to print a specific details, attributes dot query parameters means it will print the only query parameters. Like this you can capture all the postman details inside MuleSoft by using these attributes. It can capture only metadata. For example, here I am sending some body content. What I am sending as part of body content, just click on body and select the raw and select the, okay, test is fine. Here I want to send some details. Welcome to MuleSoft. Also like okay, this is my first application. So here you can see I'm sending some like content to the MuleSoft. So in the MuleSoft I'm printing only attributes. I'm not printing any payload here. Okay, I'm not printing any body here. So in this time, okay, if you see this time, I'm sending the request. Okay, let's see what will happen. So here you are getting the body, same body you are getting as part of browser you are getting, but in inside MuleSoft you cannot print. So here you can see I'm not printing any kind of that body message here. Here you can print only attributes. If you want to print that body, how you can print? That is very simple. So remove these attributes and give the payload here. Okay, remove these attributes and give the payload here and press Ctrl S. So this time you will not print all these attributes, only you can print body content. Why? Because I have given payload here. Okay, let's see what will happen. So application got redeployed. If you don't want all these unnecessary logs, you can clear the console. So then my empty console, just I'm sending the request. Okay, so here you can see the message, request metadata, welcome to MuleSoft, and the second message it is printed below. This is my first application. Now it is not printing all the attributes, it is printing only payload only, nothing but body. So body, whenever it will come to MuleSoft, it will convert into a payload. All the metadata, whenever it will come to MuleSoft, it will convert into attributes. Particular headers you can print, particular query params, particular URI parameters, all the things you can print as part of the attributes. Okay, so in this way you can assume. So payload also you can process in this way, but payload means it can send back to the browser. That thing you have to remember. Attributes never send to the browser, only payloads will send to the browser as part of the response body. Okay, in the response body you can send only payload only, you cannot send attributes here. Okay, that thing you have to remember. So in this way you can assume how you can capture the attributes and how you can capture the payload. But if you want to see very in detail, also I can show you. Okay, so for that I need to run this application in a debug mode, so then you can understand better. Okay, so even same detail I'm printing here, right? Even same details I can send to one file also. Okay, so for that I need to drag the file module. Okay, just to simply include the here, click on the add module and click on the file. You can add your file connector to your application. Simply click on write. Okay, so here you need to give one location. For example, if you go to the desktop, I'll give mule files, right? So I'll delete all these details. Yesterday I have created this folder mule files. So in this folder I want to process my data. How can I process? So here you can select the desktop mule files. Here I want to write the data message structure data dot txt text format I want to print. Open, just click on open. Let's see how it will return all these details. So I'm pressing Ctrl S. Otherwise, okay, I have stopped this application. Again, I'm starting this application. Okay, sorry for that. Even I can run this application debug mode and I can show you how this data will flow each and every step. I can show you what is the debug mode. So this time, every time it is printing directly, right? This time it will not print directly. Whenever I want, I can print this component, each and every component. So for that, first you need to run your application in a debug mode. Okay, before that you need to add one toggle point here, so we can call it as a breakpoint. So this execution directly it will not complete. Okay, the execution will stop here. We can see each and every part in the message structure that I want to show you. Okay, so in this box I can show you details, nothing but all the attributes I can show you, all the payloads, everything I can show you in this box. Okay, let's see. I'll go to the console. Let's see how it will come. Okay, my application got deployed. The prospect perspective also will change. Okay, no need to worry. If you want to go to the normal design mode, you can go to here. Now it is in debug mode. Okay, if you want to go to normal mode, you can click here. It will go to the normal mode. If you want to go to the debug mode, you can click here. Okay, automatically it will come to the debug mode. Now you don't need to worry about all these things. Okay, daily we will usually will do this debug mode and everything, right? So then you can understand better in a later sessions. You don't need to worry at this moment. Okay, I'm sending the request. Now I'm sending the request. Let's see what will happen. So the request will stop here. Here you can see all the attributes and payloads you can see. So all the details we are getting. Why? Because I'm getting entire message structure here. So here you can see attributes. What are the attributes are available? Listener path, local address, query params. You can see the query parameters. One query parameters are available. How you can check this one query parameter? Just click on this query parameter and expand this query parameter. Okay, here you can see name equal Niranjan, right? So my query parameter name equal Niranjan. Same thing I am sending right here from the query parameter. Still you can see my request is sending. My request is not completed. Why? Because I have stopped my request here. I haven't completed my request. Okay, that's why still it is sending. Now I am sending my name as a query parameters and I am sending my address details as part of the headers. Okay, I'm sending my address detail as part of the headers. Let's see where is the headers here. So is there any headers? Something missed. Yeah, here you can see 9 headers I have. So what are the 9 headers? You can extract. Here you can see all the 9 headers. Okay, so if you open this header, so here you can see address equal HYD. Okay, and next you are sending your details as part of the headers and params, and URI parameter also. You are sending your data in URI parameter also. How you can send as part of the URI parameter? Go to URI params. Here you can see one URI parameter. What is that URI parameter? If you extend this, data equal to my number. Okay, so in this way you can see all the details as part of the message structure. You can minimize these attributes. If I don't want, you can minimize these attributes. So instead of attributes, you will get like apart from this, you can say like apart from this attributes, you will get correlation ID, payload, some variables you will get, some logger details also you will get. Okay, so logger means you have created here, right? That's why it is created here. Here you can see the payload also. What is this payload? Welcome to MuleSoft. This is my first application. Nothing but whatever you are sending the body here, that body it will convert into a payload. That body it will convert into a payload. Now you can easily understand, right? How this all the request details will convert into a message structure. So it will convert into attributes as well as the payload. These all are generated automatically. It is not related to the message part. Okay, so you need to think about this logger and correlation ID variables. We'll discuss these things later. As of now, you have to think about attributes and payload. Attributes means all the metadata you can fetch from attributes, and all the body will get as a payload inside MuleSoft. Now, so in this file, you can see all it will store only payload only. Okay, so then you can see, and I'm clicking on. So this is the next processor. If you want to go to the next processor here, you have to click this. Okay, just click on F6. Otherwise, in your keyboard, directly you can press F6 also. Yeah, I'm pressing F6. So then it is written that my data into the file. Where is my file is located? In desktop mule files. Where is the mule files? In the mule files, you can see message structure data. If you open this, you can see welcome to MuleSoft. This is my first application. This payload will save into this file. Okay, again I'm coming back to the design mode. So why only the payload is saving in this file? Why the attributes is not saving? Here in the content section, you are saving only payload. You are not saving any attributes. If you want to save attributes, here remove the payload and give the attributes. Okay. Now you can see only attributes I can save into the file. Let's see what will happen. I'm like redeploy my application and I'm sending the request. Now you can see again it will come to the debug mode. Nothing but it will not complete the execution. It will stop here again. So again I need to run manually. So debug mode, what is the drawback? You need to execute manually. Sometimes it is also advantage. I want to check each and every component. You have to run in a debug mode. You can see all the attributes and payload here. But it will, you need to run this application manually. If you are not running in a debug mode, directly automatically it will execute. You don't need to execute component by component. Okay, so F6, you can see. Now let's see in the file. So what is the data will store? So this time you can see all the query parameters will save. Okay, so in a different format it is saving anyway. I want to save in a proper format. You know, right, how you can save the proper format? Already we have used, right? Transform message we can use. Okay, it is printing in a different format, so that's why to change the format we'll use the transform message and we can print happily all our details. Okay, you don't need to worry about all these things, just you have to remember only one thing. Okay, so that here I can explain you. So whenever you send the request from the postman, that request have two parts. One is the metadata and another one is the body. So whenever that request will come to MuleSoft, that will convert into a message structure. In the message structure also, you will get all this metadata part as part of the attributes. And you will get all the body as part of the payload in the message structure. Then if you want to utilize this, all the metadata details, inside mule you have to use as a attributes. If you want to do something with your body data, you can use this syntax like payload syntax. Okay, so then you can play with this data inside MuleSoft by using this like syntax. Like if you use attributes, you can play with the all the metadata. If you use payload, you can play with your body. Okay, so nothing but request body you can use and you can utilize, you can properly you can manipulate. So in this way, so if you see, as of now we have discussed about the mule4 message structure. There is some difference between the mule3 message structure and mule4 message structure. If you type in Google like message structure in mule something mule4 or something, there you can see very clearly there is a images also available. Yeah, I'm opening this image now. You can see very clearly. So this is the mule3 message structure. Here you can see only this is the message. This is the only message. In mule3 we have payload and we have inbound properties, outbound properties. But in mule4 we have only two parts, payload and attributes. So instead of attributes in mule3 they have used inbound properties and outbound properties. But in mule4 they have removed all these inbound properties, outbound properties concept. Simply they have introduced attributes. So nothing but they have simplified the message architecture. Okay, they have simplified the message architecture in mule4. In mule3 it's a kind of a difficult architecture. Okay, that's why they have introduced mule4. Not only for this, there is a lot of reasons. Even you can see in mule3 attachments is a separate part. It is not included. They haven't included in a message part. But in mule4 they have includes this attachment as part of the payload. Okay, that is the difference you can see. Okay, in mule3 we have to use separate components, attachments, and there is some process to capture this attachments. But in mule4 everything will capture through the payload only. Attachments and payload and everything. Attributes we have separately, and variables and exception messages it will not coming from the postman. Okay, it will create in a inside MuleSoft only these variables and exception message. So that's why they haven't include these three things inside of message structure. Okay, these variables and exception message they haven't include inside message structure. So whenever the request will come to our MuleSoft, automatically one mule event will trigger. Inside mule event you can see all this mule message structure, variable, exception message, all things you can see. Okay, so inside mule event you have all this variable, exception message and message. So as of now we have like discussing about this message structure particular part, but overall whenever the request will come one event will trigger. Inside event you can see this message structure and variables and exception message. Even now you can see, right? So for example, if I'm sending the request, here you can see this is the entire mule event. Okay, in the mule event you can see all the variables, payload, attributes, all the details you can see. Only in the message structure you can see attributes and payload only. Okay, so in that way you can assume. So this is the very useful site. VSoft have created this one. So if you want I can send this diagram also. Okay, so I'll send this diagram in the chat. Okay, I'm sending through chat. Okay, that's it guys, thank you.